Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we're checking out Transformers Devastation for the Xbox One.
Released in 2015, this was developed by Platinum Games and published by Activision. Platinum's known for all the Bayonetta games, shit like that. And, yeah, it's a beat 'em up, so you don't see that a lot these days. It came out...
Jim, wouldn't the technical term be hack and slash?
No, Brian, it's not hack and slash because you're not always using swordy, knivey things. Sometimes you punch.
But Devil May Cry was considered hack and slash.
Yeah, because you use a sword and guns.
Yeah, and this is sword and guns too.
It's not always swords. It's not mainly swords.
There's axes.
Well, yeah, of course there's axes, Brian. There's always going to be axes.
You can slash with a punch.
Anyway.
Watch! Ah! God!
Anyway, it came out on Windows, the PS3, the PS4, the Xbox 360, and the Xbox One. Is it any good? Well, we'll find out. Let's get into it.
The graphics. Well, I gotta be honest, if you are a fan of the original G1 Transformers cartoon, then you are going to love the way this game looks. It has a style that allows it to age fairly well because it's that cel-shaded 3D models with, for the most part, pre-rendered backgrounds. But we gotta say, the Autobots, the Decepticons, they look awesome. Everything else is fairly generic. Sometimes the backgrounds can have a really colorful hue to them, like the sunset, and the explosions all look good. At times, during some of these driving missions, when you're hitting these plasma shields, there can be just an overload of goddamn purple and pinks. But honestly, we like the style of it. It's not perfect, and we can tell that they just put most of their effort into the actual models themselves. At the end of the day, enough of the game looks generic, so we couldn't give it perfect scores. However, we can't stress it enough. We do love that it went back to that original G1 style, so we both gave it 7s. And when it comes to beer, I'm just going to add one, and it's a happy beer, because we think most games should go back to the original style that everyone's nostalgic for, because having graphics like this might allow you to overlook the rest of the game if it isn't that bad.
The sound. Alright, let's talk about the most important thing with the sound, and that is the voice acting, because holy crap, it is phenomenal. A lot of the original voice actors come back and reprise their roles. I think some of the original ones are dead now, but the people they got to impersonate do a goddamn great job. And overall, all the lines are just done in that awesome, cheesy 80s way. It just works on so many levels. And I wasn't even a big Transformers guy growing up, but even I can appreciate just the level of what they did here. The music's actually really good as well. It's not memorable. It's generic, but it's up-tempo metal for the most part. Metal and hard rock, and it's just perfectly fitting, but it's nothing you'll be humming after. Sound effects are, again, kind of generic, but they're also faithful to the show. But, with that sound effect where it's like, dum 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 dum.
Ow! Jim, that's not how it goes.
How does it go then?
Dum dum dum.
Really? That's what you smacked me for?
Gotta add a little more oomph to it, Jim. Be respectful of the Autobots.
I was always more a Decepticon guy.
You would be a Starscream fan.
I actually love Starscream.
Of course you do.
Brian, he just wants to take over.
He's a bitch.
Anyway, so overall, we gave it really high scores because we really appreciate the package here. If the music was a little more memorable and there were a little more varied sound effects, sure, it'll be higher, but I gave it an 8 and I gave it a 9. Nothing wrong with this sound package, and you don't need any beers. It's as good as it's going to get.
The control. Well, if you've played any modern 3D hack and slash beat 'em up, whatever you want to call this style of game, then this is one you're going to be able to pick up and play right away. For the most part, it's simple. You have your small attack, big attacks. You can chain them together into combos. But the real meat of this game comes in the fact that you can transform back and forth to your vehicle or your robot form. And we gotta be honest, we love that mechanic. Sometimes as you're chaining together your attacks, at the end of the attack, you'll be prompted with a quick time event to switch over to your vehicle and do like a devastating attack. Or if you actually hit the RB button right before you're attacked, it'll slow down time, allowing you to get in some attacks. The one area where Jim and I think this game could have improved slightly is the actual transformation into your vehicle. You have to hold down RB, and quite honestly, when you're in the middle of a crazy fight and you need to transform, you can forget that it takes just a second longer and you're going to stay in robot form. It's not a huge hindrance, it's just a minor annoyance. Other than that though, it's everything you come to expect. The switching over from shooting to attacking is super simple, and it's exactly what you'd expect from a game of this time, as I already said. So, we both gave it 8s. It's not perfect, but obviously it's nothing that's going to stop you from having a good time with this game. So when it comes to beer, I'm just going to add 1 for us being a little bit nitpicky about the way you transform in this game.
The gameplay. Well, first and foremost, if you've played a Bayonetta, you've kind of played this game. Only it's maybe even simpler. I've only spent a little bit of time with Bayonetta. Anyway, ow. Alright, I deserve that. So basically, it's as simple a kind of action game as you can get. You go around a somewhat open world, basically a big city, and you go to different areas where you'll fight wave after wave of enemy until either the level ends or you fight a boss. Rinse and repeat. Personally though, I like to stick with just the melee characters, because, I mean, come on now. The ranged weapons, if you use them, you're no better than Megatron. He's just a gun, so, if anything, we should be banning Megatron from these games.
Ah, what? Jim, he's not even an assault robot.
Assault robot? Really?
Get it? Like an AR?
Yes!
It's topical. Snowflake.
Damn it. In between all the fighting areas, you go around the cities, like I say. And it gives you an opportunity to do a lot of exploration and to get a bunch of these item boxes, which you can use to put towards all your different unlockables. So you can get different points towards unlocking your character, different pieces that you can craft together to make more powerful weapons. You can, feed whatever your weapon of choice, basically, so you can just make it better, stronger, level it up, give it more abilities. Besides the main story, you get to go... What did I do now?
Wrap it up, Libby.
Libby?
Yeah, liberal little bitch.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we'll talk about the challenge modes in another part. But for the most part, it's a fun game, it's a solid time, it's simple and dumb, but you know what? Sometimes that's nice to have. Not everything can be an RPG. So Brad gave it a 7, I gave it an 8. When it comes to beer, I'll just give 1 beer for those damn assault robots.
The originality is the one area where this game does not perform very well. So, as we mentioned, it is nice that they have this cell shading representing the G1 style of Transformers, and not to mention the fact that there's been a ton of Transformers games before this. While this game did a good job of combining elements we're familiar with, it felt like a semi-new package, really, when you break down, like Jim said, the way you want to play as a Transformer, whether you're going melee or weapons and upgrading them. But really, other than that, there's almost nothing here, so we could only give it 2s. When it comes to beer, I'm only going to give it 1 because honestly, I'm not expecting much more out of a Transformers game, and you might as well just take that and enjoy these beautiful graphics.
Replayability. Alright, well, first and foremost, there's no multiplayer, which Platinum's kind of known for, so that's a bit disappointing. Being able to run around and beat up robots with a buddy would have been fun, but what are you going to do? As far as the in-game content, you get to 5 different characters, which you can all, level up and customize how you want. There's only really one ending to the game, so it's not like it gives you a reason to go back there. And you have all the different challenge missions, which are cool, and, they're a fun time waster. Honestly, there's a lot you can do in this game, it just doesn't give you that many reasons to truly go back. It's truly up to the player, but if you do want to go back, you have a lot to come back to. So, in that weird roundabout way, we decided to give it 5s. And when it comes to beer, I'm going to give it 2 beers for really just not having any multiplayer component in 2015. Just seems weird and almost lazy. So, there you go.
Overall, this is a perfect game for a true Transformers fan or anyone that's just looking for a mindless, fun, hack-and-slash style game. There are some deep elements to this game, as we mentioned, and a lot of collectibles, so you could spend a lot of time going around the city and exploring, but honestly, this game is not going to take you more than 4 hours to beat unless you're really, really trying to stretch it out. You can always go back, play on higher difficulties, try different robots. Just be the Transformers you've always wanted to be as a kid. Jim got this game for cheap, so honestly, this is why we did it. He played through it, liked it, and I gotta be honest, it's a solid title. So when it comes to scores, we both gave it a 7. The game is above average, it's definitely not perfect, but this is a style that Jim and I both like, and we really appreciate the presentation, especially that voice acting. You can't stress how much we really enjoyed that. So when we combine all of our scores together, it rounds out to a 7.1. pretty much on par with our overall feeling for this game, and we gotta be honest, we're shocked that more people gave this game a higher score. I think that's more than nostalgia talking.
They also don't have originality scores.
They would also ban Megatron like you. Roll out! When it comes to beer pairing, I'm gonna go with the Ruckus Brewing's Optimus Prime. Obviously, with the tie-in of Transformers, this was an easy choice. Not to mention, this is an Imperial IPA coming in at 9%, so there is a ton of alcohol, and as I mentioned, since this game really is so short, you can afford to get yourself a little bit drunk. It's not the most difficult game in the world. But remember to drink your beers and play your games responsibly. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.